Hey friends, it's Rana and I'm here today to see what books Goodreads will pick for me for the month of February. But before we start the TBR game, I wanted to quickly tell you how my reading month went for January and if I read the TBR that Goodreads picked for me in January. If you didn't see my TBR video for the month of January, Goodreads ended up picking these 4 books for me to read. We have rana-najjar by مريد البرغوثي, زنزانة by Salman al-Audi, The Iliad by Homer, and Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. Now, out of these 4 books, I ended up finishing just this one. It is the only book that I started and finished reading in January out of these 4 books. It is رأيت رام الله by مريد البرغوثي. I'll make a review video for it soon. And I am like more than halfway through Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. I'm enjoying it. I love the series. It is just, I'm not in a reading slump. I'm more of a life slump in general. I just didn't want to do anything aside from working, coming back home, sleeping, and doing the same thing over and over again. And I didn't have time to read, and the time I had for reading, I didn't feel like it. These 2 books I didn't even touch, but what we are going to do is, I'm going to make Goodreads pick another 4 books for me to read in February, and these 2 books will also be on my TBR for February, so it will be 6 books I must read in February. So from now on, every time I don't read a book in a certain month, it will be pushed to the next month until I read it. So it will be slowly accumulating books for me to read each month. So fun for me. Now hold on, I didn't finish just 1 book, I finished 2 books. The other book that I finished and wasn't on my Goodreads TBR is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. And the reason why I finished that book is because I listened to the audiobook. That's why it was easier for me to finish. But that doesn't matter because I'm now 2 books behind my Goodreads reading challenge. What a great way to start the year. Now let's start and see what all of you came here to see, Goodreads choosing my February TBR. What I do is, for this TBR game, I go to my Goodreads, to my books. I have a shelf called Own TBR. I currently have 35 books I need to read before September because I am doing the 0 TBR challenge where I need to read all of my own TBR before the month of September. On that shelf, in the settings, I put the sorting of the page at random, so every time I refresh the page, different book will be at the top of the page, and when I refresh it, each time the first book I have on the list is the book I need to read for the month of February. And Goodreads will pick 4 books for me to read that way. So let's see what the first book I have to read in the month of February, and refresh the page, and it is okay. الرحيق المختوم by... So the first book we have is الرحيق المختوم by صفي الرحمن المباركفوري. It is a biography of the life of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and it is at 488 pages. I'm really glad that Goodreads picked this book for me because it's been a while since I read any religious books about my religion, which is Islam, and I need to get back to it. So this book will be a good start for it. Let's put it here and see what the second book will be on my TBR. The Odyssey. It ain't gonna happen because I still have to read the Iliad, and there's no way in hell I'm going to read the Iliad and the Odyssey in the same month. So a new rule here we have, I just invented it. If I get a sequel or a 3rd book in a series and I still haven't read the previous book, the first book, I'm gonna skip it. I know you might not like this rule, but it is my TBR game and it is my rules. I'm not gonna read the Odyssey in February because I have to read the Iliad before that, and I don't even know if I will be able to finish the Iliad in February, so we won't be doing that. So let's refresh the page again and hope for the best. Oh, okay, The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Finally, a short classic on the list that I think will be doable for me to start and finish in February. And this one, I think it is at 145 pages, which is pretty easy for me to read. It will be shameful if I didn't read it and finish it in February. All I know about this classic is that it is about an old man going into the sea because he wants to catch a fish or something like that. I don't know. We will find out together when I read it. Now let's see what we have for the third book. Refresh and... okay, The Complete Ghost Stories by Charles Dickens. I think luck is by my side this month because Goodreads is picking easier, shorter books for me to read in February, and I'm really happy for that. This one is a collection of short ghost stories by Charles Dickens, and I think I read only 2 from this collection when I was in university. The first one is A Christmas Carol, and the second one, I think it was about a star or something like that. I can't remember, but this one is at 329 pages, and I think it will be easy for me to read because I can read one short story every day or every other day, and I can easily finish it. Watch me say that and end up failing reading any of these books. And the last book we have to read is another Arabic book, رقائق القرآن by Ibrahim Omar al-Sakran. رقائق القرآن by Ibrahim Omar al-Sakran is an Arabic book, another religious Arabic book about Islam. This one was a recommendation from my best friend, my dearest friend, Hadil. I don't know much of it aside from her loving this book, and it is a very, very short book. It is like 175 pages. Another read that I think it will be easy for me to go through in February. So these are the books that Goodreads picked for me today. Again, funny how in January Goodreads picked 2 English books and 2 Arabic books, and this month it happened again. I think this is very doable for me. What I'm afraid of is the other books that I have to finish from January. Kingdom of Copper, as I said, I'm like more than halfway through, but I'm really enjoying it. I think it will take me another week to finish. I know I am starting to become a very slow reader, but what can I do? And the 2 books that I failed to even start reading in January, which are The Iliad by Homer and Al-Zinzana by Salman al-Aude. That means that now I have 6 books to finish and a half. When I look at it like that, it is a little bit harder, but I think these will be somewhat easy for me to read these 4 because these 3 are really short, and this one I think it will be an easier read for me because I know much of it. This one I'm gonna finish next week, and these 2, whenever I finish them, I will finish them. No one knows if I will be able to. Wish me luck. I think I can do it. This month, I don't think I'm gonna put an order for me on how to read them. I'll just finish The Kingdom of Copper and start whatever I'm in the mood for from these 5 lovely books. If by a miracle I ended up reading all of these books in February, I'll make a really good progress in my 0 TBR reading challenge by reducing it by a lot. So that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to see my future videos whenever I post them, if I post them, and I will see you next time. Bye!